All right, we ready? Okay, it's fun to get out there. Day one, spring ball. Felt good to get back on the grass with the players. As I told them in the meeting this morning, I felt like we had a really productive, good off-season weight room. Guys have worked really hard, and we took it with the weight room in the fourth quarter drills and pushed them a little bit physically and mentally. They've handled that well. Took it into practice today and got off to a good start. Obviously, a ton of work to do. I'm not going to get into specifics. Don't ask me about any specific player right now because let's just wait and see. Let's wait and see how each player, each group, progresses through this spring. We have 31 new players out there. We've worked really hard as an organization, as a team, to really bond, to get closer, to be very intentional, to really know each other, and I love the group. I like them as a whole. I like the way they're working. I feel like we have good depth. We're a work in progress. We have a lot of work to do, but it's a great start. We're excited. We're excited about this opportunity, excited about spring. The guys had good juice, good energy. The focus has to be there. You guys know, and I just told them at the end of practice, you look at the season last year, there's so many games, so many critical plays that there's just no excuse to take any play off. It's in a game of, 160 plays. I mean, you don't know any one play that's going to make the difference in the game. And practice is kind of the same way. We have to get in good habits and have great intensity, great focus, and great discipline through the entire day. So there were some really good moments today, and there were some moments that we need to build on.
The learning how to practice, is that the install, all of that, is that even more challenging just with 31 new guys?
Yes, it is. It is. I mean, I think, you always want continuity, but you see now, I think you guys cover enough. You watch all sports, and there's great turnover, right? And so we are able to do a little more in the off season, and so you get more work with them, so you don't feel like you're out there day one where it's just completely, new. I mean, we've been meeting with these guys. We've been able to go through walkthroughs. We've been able to do things, and so, there's, I think, it's safe to say, across the country in many different sports, it's year to year now. You got to put together a really good team. Sure, you'd love to have the continuity as much as you can, so I feel like we got really good work in, and I didn't feel like it was just a complete cluster like it has in, certain spring day number ones.
Mark, we talked a lot last fall about the continuity with Bush and the offense and needing that on the staff and how big that was. But when you have 8 or 9 new starters on offense, how does that still manifest? What are the benefits of having the staff continuity?
Yeah, it definitely helps with the staff continuity because I think, even through last year, you go into the season and you realize for him, first time calling plays in the SEC, had been in the league, obviously knew what he was getting into, but maybe what we can do, what we did well, where we fell short early, and try to adapt to things and be able to function, and be able to get ahead of those critical situations that we talked about and be better prepared, be in a better situation to handle all the different scenarios that come up.
Well, because you've got so many veterans, we talked to one of them when y'all made him available, and he said he already knew how to do some of the drills you guys have asked him to, and knows what kind of effort it takes to maximize what y'all need to do. Talk a little bit about the benefits of having veterans come in and they know about work habits and work ethic and that kind of thing.
Well, I think, it's important, certainly in our sport, and I think all, to have a good balance there. I think, guys that have played a lot of football, maybe they didn't all play it in the SEC, but they played a lot of winning football and played ball. They have experience. They've seen things. And the maturity is important, it definitely is, and but we also have to have a good balance and have real talented young guys, and guys, I think there's a good mixture. I feel good, some young guys stood out today, and some older guys, the veteran leadership, the approach that they've had. I think, again, us reinforcing what we want to look like as an organization, what we want to look like as a team, constantly pounding that into their head and being very demanding about that is something we're not going to relent on. And these guys are taking the medicine, so to speak, very in a very good way. They like it, they embrace it, and they've been fun to work with.
Coach, obviously you've been through plenty of springs here in Kentucky and elsewhere. What's maybe that one thing, most important thing you'd like to get across for maybe, say, a freshman, early enrollee, those 18-year-olds? I
think just, again, have them understand the demanding nature that it takes to be consistent day in and day out. We cannot afford to take any snaps off, any days off. There is a lot of work to be done every day. You've heard me talk about that already this spring, but it's true. And I've challenged them. I mean, the intensity has to go up. We have to be better, tomorrow than we were today. And, I think that's what's important for newcomers, the players that have been here, the freshmen, you name it, just the intensity that it takes to attack each and every day.
The class of 2024 is largely intact. I know you got most of those guys back who were freshmen last year. What are some of the things that you can spot in this spring practice that says, okay, maybe the light bulb's turning on and they can be ready to contribute this
well, we really believe that, but that's to be determined. We will see that. I think right now, if you just look at it and haven't watched the film yet, just walked off the field, but you could tell just the way they carry themselves, the way they practice, the way they understand things, that they should be better. And, I like that group. And, we'll see how they progress here through this spring.
Like, how do you approach quarterback this spring with obviously a veteran you brought in who's played a lot, and then a young guy that you're so high on in terms of his future?
Yeah, we got a lot of guys to develop, at a lot of positions. And so that's the beauty of spring is just, go – again, with them, they're no different than anybody. Get out there and fundamentally get better. Yes, they got to understand the big picture. And again, I just told the team that there's going to be so much that we're going to do between now and the first game, so many big picture things, but it's a fundamental game. I mean, you know that. I mean, you see that, you understand that. I mean, again, look at the situations last year. Look at critical down and distance. Look at ball security. Look at penalties. Simple things. We have to do a lot of things good, and we have to be creative, but it's a fundamental game, and quarterbacks are no different.
Mark, with spring practice, with so many new guys, how much is spring practice even more so of a team building type thing that you're trying to incorporate guys not only on the field but off the field and personalities and that sort of thing?
It's been hugely important. It's been a major point of emphasis for us since these players arrived on campus. So we have a program in place called Yearbook where we're just getting to know everybody's name, where they're from, where they came from. I mean, every play on our team is studying everybody on the field and just getting to know everybody. And then we'll break into other things where we sit there and eat dinner with each other. But our coaches are going to players' houses. We're doing home visits on campus. I mean, we have to do a lot of things to be very intentional to get to know these guys and get them to play together.
Will they continue into the summer as well?
Yeah, it's a year-long. We have a year-long roadmap and have a good plan for that.
Anybody making any good meals in these homes?
Yeah, not as good as during the recruiting process. Yeah.
Several times, I think during the winter, got to get back to quote unquote who we are.
Mm-hmm.
It's been kind of a
yeah.
For you. Some of that's manifested in the weight room, like you talked about in the off season.
Mm-hmm.
Where do you see that advancing and progressing through the actual spring?
Yeah. I don't mean that to be some catchphrase or anything like that. I mean, but I think there's not any one thing I'm putting on that. I think I've said it my very first press conference who we want to look like, right? I feel like we created that identity over the years. Sometimes we hit the benchmark and sometimes we fell short. And so obviously if we fell short in that area last year, which I fully admit that we did in certain areas, then we got to get that corrected. We got to get it fixed. And, there's a lot of, you know, that's a big definition right there for me. You know what I mean? There's a lot of areas where I could talk about that relates to that, about being who we are. You know, and part of it is the relationships. Part of it is the physical nature that we want to play with. You know, part of it is the discipline. There's a lot of things that encompasses.
Mark, the safety position's one where you didn't hit the portal to add players. So you lost Zion. Where do you need to see growth from that group? Who do you need to step up?
We feel good about that position. We feel like, you know, they're a little thin maybe in total numbers, but we feel like we've got four guys that can play, and we need that versatility. You know, you may move some guys to that spot where Zion played. You know, so that nickel medium type position that we have. You know, with 5 DBs, and there's some guys in there that you know, have some range, that can run, and so we feel like there's some good bodies to work with there.
Is Carter one of those players?
Yeah, he is.
Folks, thank you.
Yep, thank you.
Thanks, Mark.
You got me.